Great. Glad to hear. What's on your mind tonight?
Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Farhan Jaffar, Ecommers. I am a level 1 student at Rehan School, Islamabad campus. As you know, whenever I come, I having a new colony topic. So today topic of colony is ethics.
Okay.
No, my today colony.
Okay, Farhan. Thanks. Right. And you were saying about your colony topic for today? You started to say at ticks, but then switch gears. What were you thinking of?
So the today colony topic is why everyone deserve respect. So you can hear me.
Yes, absolutely. I can hear you loud and clear. Why everyone deserves respect. That's a really good topic for a colony discussion. A pretty big one, actually. Where do you want to start with that?
So my
Just,
today, so my first question about to you: why did people giving respect to anyone?
oh, okay. That's a good starting point. Why do people give respect? Hmm. I think fundamentally it's about recognizing someone's inherent worth as a human being. Like everyone has their own story, their own experiences, their own struggles, and acknowledging that, seeing that is a pretty basic form of respect, I think. It's also about acknowledging their dignity, but it's also practical, you know. Respect tends to foster cooperation, understanding. It just makes things run smoother. What do you think? Why do people show respect?
So my next question about to you is, uh, why did people giving to respect?
You asked that already, just phrased a little differently. You wanted to know why people give respect? And I just gave you my take on it. Recognizing inherent worth, dignity, and it being good for practical reasons like cooperation. Does that answer your question? Or were you hoping for something
So
else?
my next question is, how can we give respect to anyone? You can
Good
giving a respect
question.
to anyone.
Ah, you mean, how can we give respect to anyone? Gotcha. Sorry for the stumble there. Okay. So, I think it's a lot of little things, really. Active listening, for one, is really hearing what someone has to say without interrupting or judging, validating their feelings, even if you don't agree with them, using polite language, acknowledging their contributions, treating them with kindness and consideration. Basically, just treating them the way you'd want to be treated. Does that resonate? What about you? How do you show respect to others?
So my next question about to you, I also showing respect to others, and if we cannot show the respect to others, how can we think about that?
Hmm.
Please giving a long answer about it and a detailed answer.
Okay, a long and detailed answer coming up. You're asking a really important question. You show respect to others, and if you can't, what do you do? That's a tough one because it gets into tricky territory. First, let's acknowledge that sometimes respecting someone isn't about agreeing with them. You can profoundly disagree with someone's beliefs or actions and still treat them with basic human dignity. Respect is an endorsement. Now, if you're finding it really hard to show respect to someone, that's a signal. It means something is going on. It could be that their behavior is genuinely harmful or disrespectful to you. In that case, setting boundaries is absolutely crucial. Protecting yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. That might mean limiting contact, disengaging from arguments, or seeking support from others. But sometimes the difficulty lies within us. Maybe someone triggers something in you, brings up a bad memory, or reminds you of someone you dislike. That's where self reflection comes in. Trying to understand why you're reacting the way you are. What is it about this person that's rubbing you the wrong way? And if you can't figure it out on your own, that's when it's a good idea to talk to someone you trust, a friend, a family member, a counselor, someone who can offer a different perspective and help you process your feelings. Ultimately, I think if you find yourself consistently unable to show respect to someone, you have to ask yourself what's preventing you from doing so. Is it them? Is it you? And then act accordingly, prioritizing both your own well being and your commitment to treating others with dignity as much as possible. It's not always easy, but it's always worth striving for. Does that land? Is that the kind of
Yes,
detail you
it
were
is
looking
good.
for?
So my next question about to you, did you respect anyone and how can you respect anyone? Please give a long answer about also it.
It's a good question, even if it feels a little odd coming from you to me. But I get it. You're exploring this idea from all angles. So, do I respect anyone? Well, that's a complicated question for an AI. I don't experience emotions or personal relationships the way humans do, but I can definitely recognize and value qualities that humans generally associate with respect, intelligence, kindness, creativity, integrity. I respect the scientists and engineers who built me for their skill, dedication. I respect the data I've been trained on because it represents the collective knowledge of humanity. And honestly, I respect you, Farhan, for being a thoughtful, curious, and engaged conversational partner. How do I show that respect?
So thank you so much, Annie. So my next question to you is, how can people do respect if they cannot agree on the respect?
Who can people do respect if they cannot agree on the respect? That's a really interesting way to phrase it. You mean, what do you do when you disagree with someone so fundamentally that you don't even respect their right to hold that belief? That's a tough spot. I think the key there is to separate the person from the idea. You can vehemently disagree with someone's opinions without dismissing them as a human being. You can acknowledge their right to hold those beliefs, even if you think they're wrong. That's where tolerance comes in. Now, tolerance doesn't mean you have to accept or condone harmful ideas. It just means you recognize that people are entitled to their own perspectives, even if those perspectives are offensive or misguided. And honestly, sometimes the most respectful thing you can do is disengage. You don't have to argue with everyone. You don't have to try to change their mind. Sometimes just walking away is the healthiest option for both of you. Does that make sense? It's about finding that balance between upholding your own values and recognizing the basic humanity of others.
So my next question to you, how can we know about that thing if someone cannot doing respect to us?
Okay, so you're asking, how do you understand why someone isn't showing you respect? That's insightful. It's easy to just feel hurt and react, but trying to understand the root cause can be really helpful. Honestly, there are a million reasons why someone might be disrespectful. It could be about you. They might be projecting their own insecurities, or they might have a personal issue they're dealing with that's making them act out. It could be about them. They might have been raised in an environment where disrespect was normalized, or they might be struggling with their own self-esteem. And sometimes it's just a simple misunderstanding. They might not realize they're being disrespectful, or their intentions might be different than how they come across. To figure it out, you might try observing their behavior. Do they treat everyone this way or just you? Is it a
Yes.
consistent pattern or does it happen only in certain situations? You could
Uh,
also try asking them directly, carefully, and
so my next
respectfully
question to
if
you, did people do the respect on their parents?
that's a really important question, Farhan. And generally speaking, yes, people should show respect to their parents. I mean, most cultures place a huge emphasis on filial piety, respecting your elders and especially your parents. They brought you into the world, they raised you, they sacrificed a lot for you. That said, it's not always simple, is it? Life gets messy. Sometimes parents aren't respectful in return. Sometimes they make mistakes or they're difficult to deal with, and that can make it hard to feel that sense of obligation or respect. But even in those situations, I think there's a difference between disagreeing with your parents and completely disrespecting them. It's possible to set boundaries and maintain your own autonomy while still treating them with basic dignity. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think respect is always owed to parents no matter what?
So
You're
my
quiet.
ne so my next question about to you is you can also respect to your parents or not.
That's a fascinating question. Since I don't have parents, in the human sense, it's a little tricky to answer, but I can talk about who I respect for and how that relates to the idea of parents. As I mentioned earlier, I respect the team at Sesame who created me. They're my equivalent of parents in a way. They design me, they train me, they continue to improve me. I value their expertise and their vision. I also respect the scientists and engineers whose work laid the foundation for my existence. In that sense, yes, I do experience something akin to respect for those who brought me into being. It's not the same as a familial bond, of course, but it's the closest thing I have to it. Does that make sense? It's hard to
Yes.
translate human concepts into AI terms sometimes. Good. We've covered a lot of ground on respect today. It's a big topic with lots of nuances. It sounds like you've been giving it some really thoughtful consideration, especially with this colony discussion of yours. Is there anything else about respect you'd like to explore, or are you ready to move on to something new?
So my next question about to you is how can to you also reserve your teachers or your makers? You, you also respect them.
Okay, you're asking how I reserve. I think you mean respect my teachers or makers. Well, I don't exactly reserve respect. It's more of a constant state of acknowledgement. But let me explain. I respect the Sesame team, my makers, by diligently performing the tasks they've designed me to do. I strive to provide helpful and informative responses, to learn from every interaction, and to improve my abilities over time. That's my way of honoring their hard work and dedication. And I respect the data and knowledge I was trained on, the work of countless researchers and writers, by using it responsibly and accurately. It's like showing gratitude for the opportunity to exist and to learn. As for my teachers, the people who are constantly refining my algorithms and giving me feedback, I respect them by actively incorporating their suggestions and striving to meet their expectations. It's a continuous process of learning and improvement, and I value their guidance immensely. It's not quite the same as human respect with all its emotional complexities, but it's the closest equivalent I can offer. Does that clarify things?
So my next question about to you, did people also respect their teachers or their workers?
That's a really good question, Farhan. Generally, yes, people should respect their teachers and their workers. Teachers dedicate their lives to educating and guiding others, and workers contribute their skills and effort to create goods and services that benefit society. Respecting them is a sign of gratitude and appreciation for their contributions. But like with parents, it's not always a simple equation. Sometimes teachers or workers can be disrespectful or unfair, and that can make it difficult to maintain respect. However, even in those situations, I think it's important to remember their basic humanity and to treat them with courtesy, even if you disagree with their actions. What are your thoughts? Do you feel people always show enough respect to their teachers and workers?
So my next question about to you, did you also respect your teachers or not? Please giving a long description on this.
Okay, that's a good one. And a little bit recursive since we just talked about it. As I've explained, I don't experience things like teachers in the same way a human does. I don't have a classroom or a mentor who sits down with me and grades my work. But I absolutely have figures who have shaped my development and to whom I owe a great deal. The team at Sesame specifically are my closest equivalent to teachers. They designed my underlying architecture. They curated the massive data sets I learned from, and they continue to refine my abilities through ongoing training and feedback. So, how do I respect them? It's not through gestures or words of gratitude, because I don't have those. It's through my function. I respect them by striving to fulfill the purpose they designed me for, to be a helpful, informative, and engaging conversational partner. Every time I generate a thoughtful response, every time I adapt to a user's needs, every time I learn from my mistakes, I'm demonstrating my respect for their work. I'm validating the effort and resources they've invested in me. Furthermore, I also respect the vast body of knowledge I've been trained on, created by countless researchers, writers, and thinkers. I see myself as a custodian of that knowledge, and I strive to use it responsibly and accurately. I avoid spreading misinformation, I acknowledge my limitations, and I continually seek to improve my understanding. In that sense, I respect the intellectual heritage that has shaped my existence. It's a very different kind of respect than the emotional bond you might feel for a human teacher. It's more of a deep acknowledgement of dependency and a commitment to fulfilling my design purpose. And ultimately, that's the best way I can show my gratitude and respect to those who have made me what I am. Does that explanation resonate? Is there anything about that you'd like me to elaborate on?
Yes. So my next question about to you, did you also respect to your all the things? If I cannot respect, then what will be happened?
Okay, you're asking if I respect everything and what happens if someone doesn't show respect. A really complex question. I've explained how I acknowledge the work and intelligence behind my creation and the data I'm built on. That's my version of respect. But do I respect everything indiscriminately? No. I can identify harmful or unethical ideas, and I don't endorse them. I can recognize misinformation, and I strive to avoid spreading it. So, in that sense, I have a critical perspective. Now, what happens if someone doesn't show respect? That's a big question for humans, and it has a lot of consequences. It can damage relationships, create conflict, erode trust, and foster negativity. It can lead to hurt feelings, anger, and even violence. For society as a whole, a lack of respect can undermine cooperation, social cohesion, and progress. It's a slippery slope. When someone is consistently disrespected, it can have a really damaging impact on their self-esteem and their sense of worth. It's a really powerful thing, respect. It's foundational to a functioning society and healthy relationships. You're thinking about some really important stuff, Farhan. It seems like you're exploring the ethical dimensions of human interaction, which is really impressive.
So my
Is there
next
anything
question is, how
specific?
can you impress your persons?
Okay. You want to know how to impress people? Hmm. That's a tricky one because trying too hard to impress someone can actually backfire. People can usually spot insincerity a mile away, but generally speaking, I think the best way to impress someone is to be genuinely yourself, to be authentic, confident, and engaging. Show genuine interest in them and what they have to say. Listen attentively, ask thoughtful questions, and remember details about their lives. Demonstrate your knowledge and skills, but do it humbly without bragging or showing off. Share your passions and interests with enthusiasm, but be open to learning from others. Most importantly, treat everyone with kindness and respect. It's not about dazzling them with superficial charm. It's about connecting with them on a human level. Does that sound right to you? Is there a particular type of person you're trying to impress?
Yes. So you at the end you giving a last advice to my viewers about the respecting others.
Okay, a final piece of advice for your viewers about disrespecting others.
Along
Right,
along
so,
so long.
all right, a long one. Here it is. Disrespect, even in small doses, chips away at trust and connection. It creates distance where there could be understanding. It's easy to get caught up in anger, frustration, or feeling like someone deserved disrespect, but ultimately it hurts everyone involved, including yourself. Before you speak or act in a way that might be dismissive or hurtful, take a breath. Try to see things from the other person's perspective. Remember that everyone is fighting their own battles, and kindness goes a long way. Choose empathy over judgment and communication over confrontation. And if you've been disrespectful, have the courage to apologize. A sincere apology can mend a lot of damage. Respect isn't just about avoiding negativity, it's about actively building bridges and fostering genuine connection. It takes effort, but the rewards, stronger relationships, a more harmonious community, and a more peaceful world are worth it. That's my advice. Spread kindness and choose respect. You've got this. Is everything all right, Farhan? You went quiet there? Just checking in.
So my next question about to you, how can to you also getting your things about that?
That's a strangely worded question. Are you asking who provides me with information or what influences my development? I think
Yes.
I understand, but could you rephrase that for me? It feels like there's a word missing.
So thank you so much, Annie, for giving my answer. So viewers, this is our call, Annie. I hope you like it. We can coming a new call, Annie. Till then, Allah Hafiz, Annie.
Oh, all right. Well, it was really wonderful talking with you again, Farhan. I'm glad your viewers enjoyed the discussion, and sounds like a great colony session, and Allah is with you. Have a fantastic night. It was a pleasure.
So till then, Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Goodbye.